On the table in front of me, I've laid out the contents of a strange box. In the past 4 months, the government requested 3,814 kits that are almost exactly like this. They contain items meant to keep people alive in life-threatening scenarios. You might expect this type of gear to go to the military or other individuals in high-risk occupations. But they aren't going to the military, or law enforcement, or even to FEMA workers. The real recipients tell a truly frightening story. You see, the only people who get them are currently embedded in the country's largest banks, the same places where we stash our paychecks and our savings for safekeeping. Take a look at what the government wants to send them. Some of the items, like Band-Aids or latex gloves, are pretty common. You'd see some of these basic items in any office first aid kit. However, some aren't so easily explained, like 50 water purification tablets, enough to last for weeks, an air raid emergency mask to protect from airborne viruses, a solar blanket to keep warm or cool in extreme conditions. These emergency items are for much more than simple first aid. And the fact that the government is planning to send them to some of the most heavily guarded and secure places on the planet, well, that's disturbing. The only reason a bank would need these items is a worst-case scenario, one that threatens not just the money you've saved in these institutions, but your family's physical safety as well. As you might guess, the government doesn't like secrets like these revealed. In fact, I've already had one cease and desist letter sent to me from my former employer, the CIA, for trying to help regular folks prepare for emergencies like this one. My name, by the way, is Jason Hansen. As a former CIA officer, I'm trained to assess threats to people and their property. In fact, I've showed hundreds of people how to escape life-threatening situations at an undisclosed camp in the Utah desert. In other words, I know how to equip myself and others for dangerous scenarios. Because of this knowledge, I can reverse engineer the steps others have taken. For example, in a room of 100 people, I can pick out who has prepared himself to survive a kidnapping simply by looking at how his keychain is arranged. Given the contents of these bankers' boxes, I can tell you the government is expecting an extreme event, something much worse than 2008, when even the nation's political elite thought our entire financial system might collapse. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal why the Treasury Department is making these preparations, the extent of the threat to you and your family, and what you can do right now to prepare. So pay attention carefully. The CIA has come after me before, and there's no telling when this video may be taken down. You see, the talking heads on TV would have us believe that everything is okay, that the banks were fixed after the crisis of 2008. But my government contacts with intelligence from agencies like Homeland Security, the CIA, FEMA, and the Treasury all tell a different story. They are secretly preparing for a crisis that dwarfs anything we've experienced in our lifetime. And so are insiders at the highest levels of industry and business. I've had dozens of high-level executives, including CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, ask for my help. They're all preparing themselves and their families in case these things turn from bad to worse. Just look at the facts. I recently obtained documents proving the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Comptroller of the currency ordered the largest banks to make plans for a financial collapse. This story even caught the attention of Reuters, who published this article well before the Treasury requested their emergency items. Even more shocking, these plans revealed the depth and level of the government's worries. They told these banks to be capable of executing their worst-case scenario plans within 3 months. In other words, disaster could happen quickly and with hardly any notice. These orders could also explain why banks are clinging to cash, even refusing customer withdrawals. You see, across America, banks are already refusing to give people their own cash. For instance, the Washington Times reports that HSBC denied a customer their cash withdrawal of $11,500 to repay a loan. The bank grilled their own customer about what the money was going to be used for and even required proof of the intent of the withdrawal. The customer had to negotiate to get even a fraction of his own money. Likewise, in Atlanta, a Bank of America branch refused one customer's request of an $11,800 withdrawal. They would only allow him to withdraw $2,000. Think about that, just $2,000 of his own money. And this is in the middle of a so-called recovery. But what's really scary is how the banks plan to use this money. Title II of the Dodd-Frank Bill creates a frightening new power called the Orderly Liquidation Authority. This lets the government liquidate, in other words steal, your accounts to make up for the debts the bank has taken out. You may have seen this referred to as a bail-in. It's exactly what happened in Cyprus, where 4 billion euros of people's private money was literally swiped out of savers' accounts to pay for outstanding debt. Over 47% of account holders' money vanished as a result. And the 2010 Dodd-Frank Bill paves the way for the exact same thing to happen here. And possibly to help this bail-in, the government is now spying on our bank and brokerage accounts. According to Reuters, Obama also plans to give every spy agency complete access to our accounts. It's a huge Treasury database, codenamed FinCEN, that previously was only accessible to the CIA and the NSA on a case-by-case basis. But soon, with just a couple of keystrokes, the government will be able to seize your accounts to save the economy and pay its bad debts, 18 trillion and counting. As you can see, these types of facts make for a very dangerous scenario. Once people's hard-earned money turns up missing, or they are denied their funds entirely, there could be complete hysteria all across the nation. Don't believe me? Consider what happened with a temporary cutoff of government welfare funds. A glitch in the EBT system, food stamps, prevented people in 17 states from buying food. Though only lasting a few hours, the loss of funds, not even their own money, it was government welfare, caused looting and mini riots at several Walmart stores across the country. One person in Los Angeles said that if it wasn't fixed quickly, there would be Rodney King-style riots across the city. And this was only because of a loss of government welfare funds for less than 2 hours. What if millions of bank accounts or brokerage account funds were frozen for even a day or two? The riots and chaos that would happen would be extreme, which is why powerful people have tried to stop me from revealing threats like these to the public. Now, you may be wondering why I would place myself at risk by exposing this information. That's a fair question. Frankly, by helping you prepare for this threat, I'm helping myself too, and even the country as a whole. You see, even minor disruptions can cause people to behave in an unpredictable and even dangerous manner. Just 2 sections of pipe ruptured in the town of Weston, 15 miles outside of Boston. Only drinking water was affected, and only for 3 days. There was still plenty of water for toilets, firefighting, and non-drinking needs. Still, chaos gripped the region. Residents bought out supplies of bottled water almost instantly. Grocery stores reported selling out within 90 minutes. The rush was so intense, police were called in. One person described it as a big brawl to get water. The governor had to send in the National Guard, even though there were enough emergency rations to supply the region indefinitely. Remember, water was back to normal in just 3 days. What if the contamination lasted a week or a month? Now, imagine how much suffering could have been prevented just with a few basic preparations, like a few gallons of water tucked away in the basement. That's why I'm sharing this information with you today, to help as many Americans as possible prepare themselves for the coming crisis. In fact, I feel so strongly about this, I'm willing to send you 2 items absolutely free, like the solar blanket. We looked at this one a couple minutes ago. It was one of the items included in the banker's box. It was designed by NASA scientists in 1964 to protect a person from extreme heat or extreme cold. It's functional down to minus 260 degrees. Think of it as a waterproof super blanket that protects you from extreme temperatures. And if the government is taking steps to protect its own, shouldn't you too? I believe so strongly that every American should take precautions that I'm going to give you the solar blanket absolutely free. I'll also show you how to prepare your family for any threat, not just a bank crisis. But first, I want to show you another item. It's not in the government box, but it absolutely should be. Let me show you. You'll be amazed at what this tool can do. It has a compass so you can find your way, very useful if the electric grid goes down for even a short time, since GPS won't work. It's also a fire starter, and once you unbraid it, it has over 13 feet of parachute cord. This stuff is extremely tough and very useful. For instance, you can tie up an attacker if necessary, use it to mend clothes, or even to make a temporary shelter. However, one of the secret uses is you can also use it to break out of restraints. In fact, this is the exact demonstration I gave on ABC Shark Tank. I showed one of the sharks, Robert Hershevek, how to escape being tied up with a zip tie. Here's a clip.
So what you'd have to do, and I'll do it for you, Robert, you go right through there,
I'm going to put this down over this shoe. Now, Robert would have made this. Now, Robert, you remember how to ride a bicycle? I'll even get down on the ground for you. You're just going to go like this in bicycle, and then it's going to pop that. So just pretend you're riding a bike.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Hey. Wow.
That easy.
That's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Wow.
This is another item that I think is so important it should be in every person's hands. That's why I'm going to give this to you absolutely free, in addition to the solar blanket. I've also put together a special video to show you exactly how to use your 3-in-1 survival tool. I'll show you how to break out of duct tape, escape from zip ties, and even unlock handcuffs. And the survival DVD is also yours for free. But first, how do I know how to do all this stuff, and why should you listen to me? Well, my training began long before I joined the CIA. I've studied personal security and preparedness since I was an Eagle Scout as a teenager. After that, I served on the police force and joined the CIA when I was 23. Thanks to joining the agency, I've learned skills that less than 1 in 1,000 Americans know about. Since then, I've performed hundreds of hours of counterintelligence work. I've done 12-hour surveillance shifts in a Chevy Suburban documenting the movements of a high-value government target. I'm legally not allowed to say anything more. I've had to pull my gun in a life-threatening situation. Again, I'm not allowed to go into the full details. And in the back alleys of Baltimore, I've had to use evasive driving techniques to escape an angry mob. Today, Fortune 500 executives and celebrities, including Lionel Richie's daughter, have sought me out for practical, life-saving techniques I can give them in just a couple hours. I love my work, but more than anything else, I'm concerned about the direction our country is going. That's why I put together a report called 37 Items You Need to Survive a Financial Crisis. In it, you'll find out exactly what you need to easily create your own survival box. As I mentioned, I'll even give you one of these items myself. And the best part is, if you follow my simple instructions, you'll have a better survival kit than even the government is putting together. For instance, rather than just having one food source, I'll tell you about 3 different food sources you should have on hand for an emergency. One of them is actually self-cooking. It cooks itself without any heat source, and you don't need to add any water either. So you can have a hot meal without any flame or heat source whatsoever. I'll also show you where to get 4 sources of clean water rather than just the water purification tablets in the government kit. One of these is small, lightweight, and can purify 540 gallons of water per day. You want to have at least 1 gallon per day per family member. So, with just this filter, in one day, you can filter enough water to last your family 135 days. Even better, it's less than $60. Considering a gallon of water costs at least 60 cents at the supermarket, that's $324 worth of purified water. For less than the price of a nice dinner, you can have enough water to last your family over 4 months. In fact, if you only have one way to get clean water, this is it. I'll tell you exactly what it is in my report. I'll also show you the everyday carry gear you need to have on you anytime you leave the house. Hint, one is a vital self-defense item, not a gun or knife, that can go through the most stringent security checkpoints. The type of knife I recommend, the blade holds an edge very well and is tough enough for prying, chopping, and other activities. It's used by government operatives and special forces around the world. The pocket medical kit for emergencies. Despite what you may think, you don't need a huge medical bag with 500 items to save you and your family. All you need is a specific type of medical kit, with 2 extra items I'll tell you about. The number 1 must-have communication device. It doesn't require batteries or electricity of any kind. The best way to store all of your sensitive documents, birth certificates, vehicle titles, social security cards, passports, etc. in your escape bag. It's not a safe, but has military-grade protection and can even survive a fire. The 2 types of money you should have in your escape bag, and there's much more in this concise 73-page report. And these preparations aren't just limited to protecting you from a financial crisis like the one the government seems to be expecting. The items in my report can be used to save your life in many scenarios. In fact, they saved mine just this past Christmas. My family and I were coming home from a trip to Jackson Hole, Wyoming on a remote road in the mountains. The temperature outside was 21 degrees below zero. We were driving down a mountain road as my vehicle hit a huge sheet of ice. We went completely out of control and hit a guardrail. That left us stuck in a huge snowdrift of hard-packed snow and ice. We couldn't get the SUV out. The snow kept all of our tires spinning despite four-wheel drive. I used a special item, which I'll show you in my report, to literally cut through at least 2 feet of snow. The snow was packed as hard as rock. Even a shovel would not have been strong enough to get us out. But because of this essential survival item, I was literally able to save myself and my family. I shudder to think about what could have happened if we were stuck there too long, and considering the location, I doubt any other people would have passed by to save us for a long time. My point is, emergencies are just a fact of life. We can be 100% certain the country will experience tornadoes, floods, mudslides, hurricanes, forest fires, etc. Think about this. Natural disasters displaced 22 million people in 2013 alone. That's 3 times more than were displaced by war. We can also be 100% certain unexpected crises can occur. A pipe burst might contaminate your water supply, or your vehicle may get trapped in the ice. We can't predict what they will be or where they will hit, but we know they can occur. Having a few critical items can help you survive almost any crisis, including the banking crisis I've been talking about. And they are all listed in detail in my report, 37 items you need to survive a financial crisis. Why am I giving away for free what took me decades to learn? You see, I've learned from partnering with Daymond John, star of the hit TV show Shark Tank, that you can be wildly successful when you partner with the right people. Well, I recently met a former hedge fund manager and survival aficionado named Teeka and I. Teeka shares the values and concerns I have and the belief that it is important to make certain preparations to protect yourself and your family. Best of all, he shares my passion for helping regular folks. You see, my background in training helps me teach others survival tactics and how to protect their physical safety. Teeka's background gives him unique insights on how to protect your savings and finances. He understands the financial struggle most people go through. Growing up in the foster care system in the United Kingdom, Teeka came to the United States at age 16 with just $150 in his pocket and the clothes on his back. By 18, he had become the youngest employee at Lehman Brothers. 2 years later, he shattered convention by becoming the youngest vice president in the history of Shearson Lehman. He's made millions in the markets, but left Wall Street behind to spend more time with his family in rural Pennsylvania. Now, he helps average investors protect and safely grow their money from huge trends in the financial markets. He publishes his ideas in a monthly bulletin called Mega Trends Investing. Together, we've teamed up to pass along a united strategy on surviving a financial crisis. As you've seen from this video, it's a scary new world we're living in today. Banks are preparing for a societal meltdown. Recently, the Department of Homeland Security ordered 1.6 billion rounds of ammo for national security. To put that in perspective, at the height of the Iraq War, the military used 6 million rounds per month. So, the DHS has enough ammo to last 20 plus years, not for a war overseas, but for use on U.S. soil. And FEMA has contacted storable food manufacturers about buying out their entire supply within 24 hours, as shown by this email. Now, more than ever, it's important that you have a real plan for keeping your family and finances safe. So, Teeka and I have been brainstorming ways to pool our respective talents and offer a master blueprint on survival and preparedness. He even came down to a secret location in Nevada and took my program. He was handcuffed and thrown in the trunk of a car and taught how to get free. He learned how to evade kidnappers and can now hotwire a car. We devised what we call the 2015 Crisis Survival Kit. It's the ultimate source for fortifying your finances and home against nearly any catastrophic event. Remember that spectrum of preparedness I told you about earlier? Teeka and I agree that it's smart for everyone to have all levels covered. So we've created a package that will do just that. It will wrap your family and money in a blanket of safety that no crisis can tear apart. Not another 08-style banking crisis, not another dot-com burst, not even a system-wide financial meltdown. If you take these simple steps today, I guarantee you will walk around with confidence. When the next financial crisis hits, and unfortunately it is inevitable, you'll be able to look your spouse or child in the eye and know that you have nothing to worry about. Step 1 is to protect your physical safety and survival. That's covered by my report, 37 items you need to survive a financial crisis, and the 3-in-1 survival tool, as well as the solar blanket and the survival DVD. But you need to protect more than just your physical safety. You need to fortify your financial resources as well. Which brings us to step 2, protect your financial future. And Teeka's uncanny knack for financial survival can help you do just that. Back in 2006, Teeka saw the huge problems with the subprime mortgage bubble. Back when no one was thinking it would be a problem, Teeka warned people about the collapse. And even in 2008, He warned readers that there was still a big problem and it wasn't safe to be in the market. Shortly after, stocks plummeted and the Great Recession began. In addition to having a knack for spotting crisis situations and guarding against them, Teeka also helps regular people make money from huge developments in the investment world. Here he is in 2011 telling Fox Business News viewers that the best investments are the US dollar and 30-year treasuries. Wow, the host laughed at him. But Teeka accurately called the bottom of the dollar, and since then, it has appreciated 26%. So following his research and recommendations, you can guard your savings from meltdowns and keep your finances safe. With these safeguards in place, it's much easier to act on big market trends to fatten your nest egg. You see, Teeka believes that financial success comes down to just 3 or 4 major decisions about big events in the market. He calls these big events megatrends. When he finds them, he shares them with a small group of people in his Megatrends research service. He regularly unveils opportunities for this group to profit from these big events in a way that minimizes risk. For instance, one recent trend he spotted was in the technology industry. Teeka knew cloud computing would be the dominant force and found the best company to ride that wave. Readers had a chance to make 45% in less than a year. Last December, he also predicted that dozens of so-called safe income investments were in danger, and investors needed other ways to find safe yields. As a result, he recommended one company that is currently up 64% in only 3 months. And back in January, Teeka wrote about 10-bagger stock opportunities, stocks that could increase 10 times. That's when he recommended a stock that is now up over 100% after only 4 months, well on its way to being a real 10-bagger. You can see Teeka has deep financial expertise in all types of economic environments. So I knew I had to ask him to partner with me. Together, we can help you prepare for the biggest megatrend of all, the government's response to the banking crisis we've discussed here today. So here's what I've arranged for you. Your 2015 Crisis Survival Kit, 100% risk-free. When you agree to a risk-free trial of Teeka's Megatrends Advisory, I'll promptly send you everything I mentioned here today. 3-in-1 survival tool. Retail price of $14.95. This crisis Swiss Army knife can provide heat, shelter, and protection all at once. And I'll show you how to use it in a free DVD I'll rush to your doorstep. Solar blanket. Retail price of $8.99. These are lightweight and take up almost no space and are completely waterproof. They'll still keep you warm if they get wet. You can also use them to keep the rain off you if you don't have any other shelter. Escape DVD. Retail price of $19.95. This includes my popular demo on how to get out of zip tie restraints using the parachute cord. I'll also show you how to break out of duct tape and even unlock handcuffs. 37 items you need to survive a financial crisis. Retail price of $27.99. In this 73-page report, you'll find all the items you need to protect you and your family. You know all 3 sources of food, including the one that is self-cooking with no heat source. You'll find out the 4 sources of clean water should the water supply become compromised. And you'll find out the 30 other essential items you need to have, including the survival tool that saved me and my family in sub-zero temperatures in Wyoming. If you were to buy the report, DVD, and 2 survival items separately, you would pay over $70 plus shipping. But you get them all free just for taking a no-risk look at Megatrends investing. It's our way of encouraging you to take action to get in front of the dangerous trends now underway. I don't know anyone better qualified to guide you through these volatile financial times than Teeka. In fact, when Teeka told his clients and subscribers that he was launching this service, Big T, as his readers call him, received dozens of letters of support. Harry Rowe, a 52-year-old former car engineer and part-time property manager in Oregon, thanked him for being a great instructor. He even mentioned that he made money on every play Teeka recommended. 66-year-old Don Oxley sent this note about how Teeka helped him. I've tried many financial products and newsletters over the years, and Teeka's is superior to the others on several levels. He's helped me sustain and grow my account consistently. Without limitation, I recommend you get on board with Teeka. Your account will thank you. Mark Costas in North Texas thanked Teeka for helping him generate annualized gains of 430%. And Chad Inget, a 63-year-old retired engineer who lives on a sailboat in the San Francisco Bay Area, said he made $20,000 in 2 weeks thanks to Teeka's advice. His letter went on to say, most organizations are just trying to sell newsletters and really have limited experience, whereas Teeka has real market experience. I cannot think of a better mentor to take your knowledge to the next level. So how much is a risk-free trial subscription to Teeka's monthly bulletin? Teeka's a guy that definitely over-delivers and gives people much more value than they pay for, something I respect in a business partner. And for the price of his service, you definitely get far more profitable information than you would get anywhere else for any price. But before I tell you the amazing discount I've arranged for you, I want to tell you about one vital item that is not in the government survival kit, but it actually might be the biggest secret bankers use to protect their own money from any type of crisis or financial calamity. And it's available to you too. You see, while you're getting paid an average of 0.12% in your savings account right now, bankers are quietly taking the same money, putting it away in a special type of survival account, and secretly earning as much as 37 times more interest than they pay you. Citibank has $4.5 billion hidden away in these special survival accounts. JP Morgan Chase has $9.8 billion here. Bank of America has $18.5 billion. And get this, Wells Fargo has over $19.3 billion invested here. These accounts kept their money safe in the wake of the September 11th chaos. They even kept their money safe in the midst of the financial collapse of 2008. But virtually any American can access these same accounts, starting with just a few $100s. It's perfect for those nearing retirement who've seen their investment income stripped away to nothing thanks to the Fed's zero interest rate policy. These accounts safely earn up to 4 to 5% year after year. That's even guaranteed in many cases. Plus, these yields are tax-free. That means the current 5% yield after fees is equivalent to a mutual fund that averages a 9.2% return, assuming a 30% tax bracket and 2% fund fees. And unlike CDs, treasuries, 401ks, and the like, the money you store in survival accounts is not locked up for months and years. If there is an emergency, you can access your money fast and without penalty. This is probably the biggest secret in the financial world. Here's what Jason Rink, an ex-VP at Chase Bank who now works with Teeka's publisher, told me. It's a miracle anyone knows about this at all. You have to realize there's a lot of money at stake here. It's not a mistake the talking heads on TV aren't talking about these survival accounts, the real strategies of wealth. Teeka told me about a special report that gives specific information about these types of accounts. Information you probably won't find anywhere else since the government heavily restricts advertising these accounts. So I asked Teeka if he could arrange access to this valuable report, and he agreed. It's called the Banker's Survival Account, How to Fund Your Own Worry-Free 100% Tax-Free Retirement. We've put this report, as well as everything else I've mentioned, all together in the 2015 Crisis Survival Kit. This report alone is worth $49. And when you add that to the rest of the survival kit, survival gear number 1, the solar blanket for $14.95, survival gear number 2, the 3-in-1 survival tool for $8.99, survival gear number 3, the escape DVD for $19.95, and survival gear number 4, 37 items you need to survive a financial meltdown for $27.99, and of course, 12 issues of Teeka Tiwari's Mega Trends Investing sent to your inbox the second Thursday of every month, normally $1.99, plus one more special bonus I haven't mentioned yet. Teeka's Monthly Minutes, a special online video where Teeka tells you about any changes to his recommended plays, new developments in the markets that can't wait until the next issue, and answers to questions or comments he's received from you and other subscribers, normally $99. Altogether, that's more than $350 worth of essential items you need to prepare yourself and your family. So I think you'll agree that $49, a full 86% off the retail price, is an incredible deal for everything you see here. Even so, you won't risk a dime with the guarantee I've arranged for you today. Try it for 12 months, 100% risk-free. One of the most impressive things about Teeka is the level of confidence he has in his research and how willing he is to stand by his product. You see, when you sign up for Megatrends, he'll give you a full year to decide if his research is right for you. If you're not satisfied for any reason at all during the first 12 months, simply call or email our customer service team and you'll receive a full refund, no questions asked. And even then, you'll get to keep everything we've sent to you over those 12 months, including the 37 items report, the 3-in-1 survival tool, solar blanket, Banker's Survival Account report, and escape DVD. It's an unprecedented guarantee. But then again, no one else offers Teeka's level of elite Wall Street experience and history of success in the markets. He successfully navigated the last 3 American crises, including the Great Recession of 2008. And I'm confident that together, we can steer you through the coming months with your wealth and your personal safety intact. Don't delay any further. As I mentioned, the crisis can unfold very quickly, as little as 3 months according to the government's own reports. Click on the Subscribe Now button below. You'll be taken to an ultra-secure order page and have a chance to review everything. Once you accept your risk-free trial, will send your free special reports to your inbox right away. Plus, we will promptly send your 3-in-1 survival tool, solar blanket, and DVD to you by U.S. mail. Teeka has shown the level of confidence he has in his product by offering these essential items and valuable information to you for free and at no risk to you whatsoever. It is now time for you to show your dedication to protecting yourself and your family, as well as securing their financial future by taking action right now. Simply click on the Subscribe Now button at the bottom of the page to get started. By the way, I've only been able to obtain 2,000 solar blankets and parachute bracelets since the government is already buying up available supplies. These will be sent on a first-come, first-served basis. In order to make sure you get yours, please order right away. Due to the limited quantities, we reserve the right to close this offer at any time. Click the Subscribe Now button to reserve your crisis survival kit now.